Hey, I'm back, guys. Back, ready to tell you about my day as always. You know how we do it. Look, I'm learning a lot, man. This week has been pretty different. The schedule this week has been scheduled. I got off for work. Here I am, back here again, talking to you guys. And you know what, man? Discipline your mind has to be disciplined. Your body has to be disciplined. You got to be focused on your family, on the things that you're not used to focusing on. And it takes time because you know what? Learning about children is a process. You learn something different every day. You learn something new every day. How to focus on children and give them attention. It takes practice, and that's something that we all must learn. Getting attention because kids like attention. So you got to give them as much attention as possible because kids like attention, for some reason, one way or another. So for me, I'm learning what that means. It takes time for that process to happen because kids understand. Okay, when kids understand things, you gotta let them, understand and explain to them. Because kids, they like things to be explained. Explanation is very important. I'm learning that when you have kids that you're around, kids of your own, to children, explaining things helps them grow. It helps their development. It helps them with their speech. It helps them with their memory. It helps them to, become better adults because they transition into something that doesn't affect them, but it gives them an understanding of who you are. Here, you play with that. See right here, play. You gotta try and find a way to where it becomes a part of you. Now, here's the thing: we all go through difficult stages of what life is giving us, but children are a lot different compared to adults. And then the adult to children ratio has grown in numbers in schools because elementary schools, LSUSD, are teaching children about a certain way to discipline children. Safety and health. Safety. Teach kids about safety. Teach them learning how to do safety. Kids know what safety is, but you have to. Some kids might learn different than others. Some kids might learn faster than others. Safety is always number one when it comes to children because children, they see things that they are interested in and they go after it. So you have to discipline them in a way where they understand what the discipline is about. Raising your voice and other things is not healthy for the child because the child becomes a development. It becomes a part of them. You can't use a certain tactic. You have to use a strategy where they are following that strategy. And it's very positive. You got to do positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement are encouraging words. You have to use words that helps benefit them and encouraging words that are positive. Now, a lot of teachers use these encouraging words because they say it's positive reinforcement for the child because you have to redirect their attention. Sometimes kids get distracted a lot. So children's attention span is short at any age. So you got to find a way to keep their attention. And you got to give them a lot of games and activities. Now, when I grew up very active. I grew up having, I was a very active child growing up. I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had a lot of toys. I had a lot of games. I was in school, elementary school. But the kids at the elementary school, they were different children than me. So I grew up not knowing how to play with other kids. But I was around kids, but I didn't understand other kids because They didn't understand who I was. I was different from other kids. And I realized that as I got older, that I was different. Being different, kids, they come to you to say, hey, he's different, that or she's different. But you got to understand the role of teachers as well. Teachers have a hard time understanding how to discipline children. A child, it takes a lot of patience, and you have to remain calm in your tone of voice. Now, I'm learning how to use my tone of voice with my daughter, and that in itself has taught me patience. You got to have a lot of patience when it comes to kids. Kids, you got to have a lot of patience. And sometimes, it takes practice. It takes a lifelong journey of learning about children. Working with young children doesn't teach you how to get children to be healthy and strong. It takes experience to have a child to be healthy and strong. Children, they listen to us. As adults, we have to be mindful of what we're saying to them, how we're saying it to them. Because raising your voice is just raising your voice. But you got to have a certain mechanism for them to catch their attention. Because attention grabbers is always good, even for teachers. Some teachers use a lot of attention grabbers. Phrases, words, expression, everything plays a part in a child's development. That took me a long time to understand that, because when I was a kid, my development was different than compared to other kids. I had no idea that it took this much education to understand children. And I didn't know that. Growing up, I just thought that you be a kid and you have fun. That's true too. But here's the dilemma. You got to understand where children are come from. You got to understand how a child's mind works. They use a lot of imagination. But when they see an adult that's over them, they get intimidated. But you got to be on the child's level. You got to understand the needs and wants of a child. And that takes years and years and years of understanding and philosophy and going to school. But there's nothing wrong with that either, because you're getting an education behind it, understanding young kids. Working with young people, it takes time. When I started be careful, baby, be careful. When I started working with children, I learned a lot in the classroom. And there were a lot of activities for kids to adjust to. You gotta have a lot of activities and games for children, because children, they find little things to keep them entertained. Entertaining children, it takes practice. It takes practice. You have to but being direct and firm also helps. But how to discipline children, they don't get, there's no rules to that. You can go to school for years and years and years and still don't know how to discipline a child. You got a lot of, you gotta have experience. Dealing with children, it takes a real commitment, because they don't understand why they're doing the things they do. They don't understand that. They think it's just entertaining to them. And they know that when you're upset, there's certain things in you that they know. That adults, they know when an adult is upset. Because children need all attention. Right now, my daughter wants my attention because she knows that I'm here as a daddy. But at the same time, she wants my attention. Now, this is a part where I have to step in and keep an eye on her as I'm talking to you guys. I'm multitasking. You gotta multitask. Multitasking says that you are growing, and you are identifying that you are growing. But a lot of people don't understand this concept as being a parent. Being a parent is not just disciplining. It's understanding a child's behavior. Now that takes practice. Understanding children's behavior, that takes years of observing. But you gotta find different strategies, different techniques, different ways of managing your time. It has to be a certain routine, or you gotta change your routine. Being in the classroom taught me that changing your routine. The children that have different way of personalities, you got to find a way to keep that child entertained because it takes time, and it's not easy. Raising kids is not easy at all, man. Raising children, being around kids, teachers have a hard time with this concept because they don't know the solution to it. They use all the solutions they learn from their education, but it doesn't mean that the child's going to pay attention to that. A lot of teachers that I've been around had no idea what it takes to get a child to sit in one location or sit down, or to get a child to focus for a long period of time. That takes years of education. That takes years of experience. We all still learning. I'm still learning how to do that. I worked around teachers who have that certain experience. You got to get it's a daily walk to get a child to understand what it is that you're saying. That if you unlock that secret to having to understanding kids, if you unlock the secret of getting a child to listen and cooperating, that's a mystery. That's something that will never be solved. Doctors with PhDs still don't understand children because that's a mystery. Children are they understand you, but it takes practice because you have to talk to a child. You have to get the child to understand what it is that you're trying to say, or what it is that they need, or what it wants and needs. Like right now, my daughter, she needs something, but I got to figure it out. And that's the part. They said that the parents, we are the first teachers. All parents are the first teachers. They learn from us. We are their example. Catherine, get down, please. Hey, sit down, please. Sit down. Catherine. Catherine, have a seat. Catherine. See, I called her twice. Now I have to walk over here. She know I'm coming, see? Because she wants attention. Hey, what did Daddy just say? Down, please. See? That's the third time. See, it took I called her 3 times. But I gave her 2 warnings. Sometimes you have to give kids warnings. And those warnings, sometimes they don't work. But you have to physically sometimes go over there and make sure the child is safe. Safety is important for children because safety, you have to teach safety to a child. Guiding the child, because a child's brain has 1,000 thoughts per minute, and their brain grows as they get older. So you have to grow with them. You have to see and observe and watch, and the more you watch, you have to let them be free. As long as they're not in a harmful, doing anything in a harmful way, you have to let them be themselves because they need their playtime. And playtime is very important. Sometimes outdoor activities is good for everybody because your mind becomes relaxed. Children don't need isolation. They need to be outdoors consistently because outdoor activity is something that children are they don't know. We have to be the ones to take them there. And that takes time. When they're outdoors, children become a lot different. They're calmer, they're playful. When they get home, they take from what they learn outside to bring it inside. But you have to keep them calm. You got to find a solution to the children's behavior. There are many different solutions, but you don't know what the solutions are. And that takes forever to learn that. Different solutions. A lot of people don't know what these solutions are, but they're helpful. There are parents that do know, and you need helpful tips from those parents to get a child to be very disciplined. It takes a lot, but we're all learning that. So whoever comes, if you guys have any solutions or any thoughts about how to discipline a child, please send me a video on that, so that way I can learn how to do it myself. And whatever ideas or comments that you have, that can address that, I would love to hear it. You know, I've been waiting for someone to come up with some type of solution for me, because as a father, as a dad, I want to be able to reach that level for that way, so that way when a child, you know, when understanding children, I want to be able to understand them and discipline them in a way where it's very positive and encouraging, and they're following my example. You know, being an example, that takes years to be an example, because you got to set the example for the child, and the child has to follow that example, and you got to be very positive when it comes to the example. So remember, you're not the only one. We all need support when it comes to raising kids. We need that support. If you don't have it, you know, pretty soon you're gonna figure it out. And that's the connection. That's the relationship you have with your child. I want that type of relationship with my daughter. I think time is everything. Time management is everything. You have to have a certain time with the child, certain everything, so that way the child can understand where you're coming from. Okay, now I appreciate you guys as always. Please subscribe and comment. Give me some ideas, some feedback, some video how to do that, and please let me know what can we do to raise these children better. 'Cause we have to raise these kids. These kids are following us. Here, baby. Here's Dora. Here's Dora, baby. Yeah, Dora. What you looking for, baby? What are you looking for? What's this? Pacifier? Here. There you go. See? So I'm paying attention to that. You got to pay attention. That's one thing I've learned. You got to be patient, and you have to have a certain tone of voice. All right. I'll see you guys later. I got to attend to my daughter. Until next time. Same time, same station, same channel.